Hello everyone, Professor Thompson here. I'd like to again extend a warm welcome to everyone for this Fall 2017 Net 01 class. A few days ago, I posted the first video as we opened up our course this past Monday and kind of welcomed you to class but gave you some initial information that you needed to know right away as you started the class. Today's video will hopefully be about 8 minutes long, and I've got 5 things that I need to mention today. The first thing that I would mention today is it's imperative that you get started now. Okay, there's just way too much to be getting done in a short amount of time since this is an 8-week class. So I've noticed that many of you have done the student introductions. I've noticed that a couple of you, I think I've gotten 3 that have completed the PRCA and PRPSA evaluations. Only 1 or 2 of you have started into the chapters. So it is imperative that you get started immediately. That takes me to the second issue. I've been contacted by a couple of you about the PRCA and PRPSA self-assessment evaluations. There's a complication at the end. I sent out an email yesterday and posted an announcement yesterday about this issue. The best fix for right now, a temporary fix, is please go in and do the assessment, and then when you get to the end and you enter, get your scores, and then take either a screenshot of that with your computer or take a photograph of it of your phone or copy them down onto a Word document or something and then submit those to me. Just send those to my faculty email. And so far 3 of you have done that, but there's much more people than 3 in the class. So please, again, I understand that there's an issue. This is the best temporary fix that we can do for right now. The third thing, I posted a video that I actually made last summer in 2016, but I've continued to reuse it in some of my classes because it is fairly clear and it does have some screenshot material on how you access and get started on your chapters. My philosophy is I want you to read the chapter, I want you to practice the chapter, and then I want you to assess the chapter. So you would read chapter 1, you would do the chapter 1 module, and then you would do the chapter 1 quiz. It's important to remember that the modules are in the practice area of the chapter. So after you read it, you do the practice part, and it gives you these like flashcard questions. Those questions are adaptive. So the more you get wrong, the more questions you get. So if you continue to get things wrong because you didn't read very well or didn't pay attention during the chapter, something that is designed to take 8 minutes could take you 40 minutes. Whereas if you actually, you get 10 in a row right, it will kick you out of the system. It will tell you that you're done. So the more you know for those questions, the faster they actually go. So I have some students who finish those in 5 and 6 minutes, and then I have some students who it takes them 30, 40, 50 minutes to finish each particular chapter in that practice thing. Those flashcards in that practice section, they are a completion score. So if you complete that practice aspect of the chapter, you get a full 20 points. If you don't finish it, then you only get the percent that you finished. So if you did 50% of the practice, then you would get 50% of the points, 10 out of 20. The assessments, the quiz, you only get 1 shot at those. And so I've had a couple emails on that as well. But you'll notice that if you've done the chapter flashcards, those prepare you pretty well for the actual assessment questions. In many cases, there's a lot of crossover between the two. So if you've done your due diligence, you are absolutely prepared for those quizzes. So it's a one-shot quiz for each chapter. It's out of 20 points, and then you move on to the next chapter. That takes me to item number 4. I had a couple emails about my unit dates for clarification, and if you have done your poking around in the class, you will clearly see that there are only 3 deadlines, right? September 8th, September 22nd, and October 11th, which is the last day of the 8-week term. So again, you need to complete everything in Unit 1 by 9/8, so by September 8th. That includes the 5 chapters that are there. That includes the 5 quizzes that are there, the 5 practice modules, the discussion board questions, the responses to others' discussion questions, and it includes your first speech. So that first speech is due by 11:30 p.m. on September 8th. So, and then you move on to Unit 2. You can always work ahead. So if you're a student who is fast, responsible, a go-getter, you've got things that might be happening in a few weeks, don't be afraid to work ahead. And I have a lot of students who do that really kind of get on the book and the chapters and the readings, and they knock some of that out. So you can always work ahead. Unit 2 and Unit 3 are open. I don't adaptively release them like some professors do. So I figure if you are going to be active and going to really go after it, I'm going to allow that. I do also want to remind you that I do have an extra credit opportunity in the class, but you can only do 1 extra credit chapter. And it talks about that in the syllabus. It says it on the schedule. And there's an extra credit tab on the left-hand side of the course down at the bottom. But I'm going to remind you of that as we go through the term, because this class is not about how much extra credit you can complete. This is about making sure that you get the content from the chapters that you are assigned. Okay, so again, 3 unit dates, that's it. Make sure that you are aware of those 3 hard deadlines. Look at the schedule that's posted in Blackboard to help you shape and prepare for those deadlines. The last announcement, number 5, that I have for today has to do about your speeches. I mentioned some criteria about this in the first video, and I want to re-emphasize that the state of Illinois says you must have your speeches submitted in an unedited form. Your speeches must be in a public place outside of the house, and you must gather a minimum of 8 people for your speeches. Those are unbendable, unbreakable. Any submissions that don't follow those criteria are automatic zeros, and that affects your ability to pass this course. So you want to make sure that you're aware of those and you follow those. I also want to say that it is imperative that you follow the submission directions. I do not want a YouTube link from one person and a Google Drive link from another person and a Dropbox link from another person and a God knows what cloud or this resource from people. The class is set up so that you are required to submit your speech into the Blackboard and Connect system. So on the left-hand side of the screen, there is a tab that says your speech submission tab. And when you click that speech submission tab, it gives you links for each of your speeches. That is where you need to submit your presentation. So when you record it on a video camera or an iPhone or a Samsung phone, just know that's where you need to put the file. Also, there are directions in each unit chapter, as well as directions in the announcements page, so I put it several places, about how to submit your videos. It also gives you some suggestions for condensing a file. So I really just want to stress that this may not be a super fast and easy process, so do not wait. I highly recommend that you work on your speeches 2-3 days in advance. Record them and then worry about submitting them. But don't wait until the last minute, because it could bite you in the butt. So please make sure that you're taking care of that technology aspect early, because I won't accept an excuse a little bit later on. All right? I'll talk about this in the next video here in the next couple days. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. We'll see you later.